We spun the wheel and made a deal. It's Netflix roulette time once again here at Reel to Reel Talk. Oh, and by the way, Paul, Susan's back.
Yay!
Film is a medium that transports. All I have to do is pop myself in front of the TV to watch a movie, and I can just enjoy it, whatever place the film takes me to.
Movies have always been an escape. It gives you a whole new world to be in.
I have a rekindled love affair with movies.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Reel to Reel Talk. I am Sergio Barrera, and it's time once again to talk all things cinema. Joining me, as always, are the other Reel to Reel talkers, Paul Britton, and back with us once again, Susan Chisholm. Welcome back. It's been too long and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, sorry, nursing school and work life and everything tends to jump in the way of fun things. So today I put my foot down and I said, I'm doing it.
Doing it well.
Indeed. Paul, I think we've held the fort down pretty well. Aside from all the fan mail where they were like, where's the chick at?
Yeah.
Right.
You guys could do this without video if she's not going to be around.
Nice.
We actually had that comment.
Oh, man. Well, we are glad to be back as a team, and we're glad that you're joining us here on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. We appreciate that as we prepare to do an episode that is a topic we really love to do, which is Netflix roulette.
Yeah.
It is time once again. We went to Reelgood.com, our friends over at Reelgood.com/roulette, and we entered Netflix. We entered a genre, and we spun the wheel. Susan, I believe it was you that chose the genre for this particular episode. Am I correct?
Yes, I think so. That sounds right. It's been so long ago.
Yeah. And the genre that was chosen was comedy, which I kind of had to laugh because yesterday I got a message and it was like, what was our genre? So,
Well, wait, I'll explain that because in my head I had two different genres, and I was like, okay, and I looked at my movie. I was like, okay, well, my movie that I watched will tell you which genre it was that I chose. And the two genres that I had in my head were also both listed for my movie.
right.
So I was like, crap.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I just wanted to make sure.
Right. If you ever use, those of you watching, if you ever use the Reelgood.com app, or it's Reelgood.com/roulette, you can input Netflix and other streaming services, and you can select a genre from their list, and it'll spin and give you a title suggestion to watch. So we literally allow it to do its work, and it randomly gives us a Netflix film based on a genre, and then we come together to talk about it. And one of the most interesting aspects that I noticed this time around, Susan and Paul, was to what Susan is saying. The titles that came up, in watching some trailers, I was like, that's not a comedy. And so it was interesting to see. And then you would look at the genres that it would list, and it would be comedy/drama, or, drama and something else and comedy. And you're like, it was very little comedy.
Yeah.
So
this is the famous one where I got Y tu mamá también, which is super light on the comedy, but so happy that's still the gold standard for me of roulette movies that I've gotten. So
gosh, I want to say that comedy was the first topic we ever did because it was so long ago.
This is the second topic we ever did.
Was it? Okay.
Yes, you did you picked first, and I don't remember what you picked. Might have been like, I don't remember. And then Susan, some talking, and then Susan picked second and put us into comedy.
Gotcha. Well,
because I was like, I need help after that one. I don't know what I can't remember. I thought it was
suspense or something.
Thriller. I know Thriller was one of them in the end.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It always ends up being interesting films that we're given. So it's comedy this time around, team, and I'm excited to figure out what the wheel gave us because I was extremely happy with what happened to me. So Susan, since you've been gone for a little while, I think we'll start with you, and we'll have you share what the wheel graced you with over at Reelgood.
Yeah. Okay. For me, so again, my movie had the two genres that I was trying to figure out which of these two was chosen, and it was comedy and crime, and I mean, honestly, it was a little bit light on both. I got to watch the 2004 film with Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller, Starsky and Hutch.
Oh, yeah.
So
that was light on comedy.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's just Ben Stiller and that style of comedy that I'm just like, did I miss something here? So, of course, it's based upon the 1970s, TV series where, the buddy cops essentially are going after various bad guys and stuff. So in this movie, they're trying to, I mean, they're trying to solve crimes. Obviously, they're trying to get one person. They're going kind of undercover and getting in deep with the street informants and stuff like that. Finding out about like big drug deals that are happening, and they're trying to. I mean, like they go through all these weird things. Like at one point, they're like on a golf course. I mean, and Vince Vaughn was in the movie as well. So I've had a difficult time with Vince Vaughn.
It's documented on the show.
Yeah, so maybe it's just that was part of what turned it off for me. But like, to me, it seemed more of like, let's fill these really huge shoes and try to live up to something that was already existing, and it fell flat for me. I thought there was too much what's the word, like roundabout, like too many side things and not enough of the actual let's just get this over with. It could have been a much shorter movie. Owen Wilson, though, he always seems to play this similar kind of like clueless guy in every movie that he plays, and he's like so for me, and I guess he did that really well. I wasn't really a fan of it, unfortunately. So, I mean, tell me what you guys thought. You all probably both seen it like multiple times.
I have.
This is not one I have seen.
Yeah.
I saw trailers and I was like, yeah, I don't need to see that.
Yeah, it's a classic moment where this movie was made to mock the original show. Right. There was no intent to recreate it or anything like that, because the original Starsky and Hutch was really a crime serial. Like it was, a detective show. And so once you cast Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller, then it's not going to be, it's very tongue in cheek, but it just wasn't funny. It just wasn't funny at all.
It wasn't, and that's what I meant by like it was really light on comedy, and it was light on the crime, because it was like. It was more of like, what sorts of hijinks can we get into? Right. And that's not that for me. That's never the kind of movie that's like, oh, I'm going to love this. It's going to be great. No.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot. Reelgood. So.
Hey, you know what though? I have to say, like for the first time that since we've had Netflix Roulette from our friends at Reelgood.com, it's one of the first times that I've gotten a movie that I haven't actually either really enjoyed or actually semi-enjoyed. It's just kind of like the entire time going like, okay.
Yeah, Sergio and I are going to just keep our mouths shut about that.
Yeah, we're happy for you.
Yeah, I've been lucky, okay?
Welcome to the club.
Been lucky, yeah. So yeah. I know. Y'all have been dealt some hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To say the very least. Yeah.
All right, Susan. Well, thank you for sharing your pick. Starsky and Hutch, interesting choice. And yeah, as soon as it came up on screen, I was like, oh yeah, I know exactly what she means. So. All right. Well, Paul, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and share mine.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll end with you. I was actually very, very pleased with the results of my spin. It was a 2016 film It was a mockumentary, a comedy documentary style film, and it was called Mascots. Mascots is exactly what it sounds like. The premise of the film was that it was a documentary of the World Mascot Association Championships, and it followed, like, documentaries do, the lives of those competing in their mascot outfits for the Fluffies, as they were called. Those were the awards. And Christopher Guest is the director, and he's known for making these types of, silly mockumentary movies. Paul, I feel like you want to react.
I love Christopher Guest.
Yes, absolutely.
I hadn't even heard of this one.
It's really, listen, you have to understand Christopher Guest's humor for this to be funny. And I, as you guys know, I'm into the subtle, tongue-in-cheek,
super dry
humor. Jane Lynch. The cast list, if you look it up, is just stupendous.
Yeah.
And everyone has a little part that they play, and we're talking people like Parker Posey, Fred Willard, Jane Lynch, Zach Woods, John Michael Higgins,
Ed Begley Jr. is
exactly. Jim Pittick.
Yeah.
It's chock full of those faces that we've talked about. How you're like, hey, it's that guy, or hey, it's that actor. I know her from and it was so funny. It was really silly, and later I'll tell you the context in which I watched it, so that you guys can understand why I might have loved it more than it was even intended to be loved. Because it came at a very good time when I sat down to watch it. But yeah, it was fun. It knows what it's doing. It knows that it's totally about being silly, and the storytelling is a lot of fun. The way in which the characters are played, and they take so seriously this notion of, like, this is my life. I'm a mascot.
Yeah. And
which is interesting, because I actually have a phobia of people in mascot suits. Like, I struggle in person. Quick story, my favorite story to tell of my mascot experience. I had taken my dad to a minor league baseball game here in San Antonio, and he always teased me about how I didn't like people in mascot suits. Well, it was opening day, and we always sat in the same section, 208, behind the first base line every time we went to go watch baseball together. And we take the turn to go to our seats, and on the wall, as we're walking towards our seats, is every single mascot of the Texas League, because it was mascot night for opening night.
Oh no! How old were you?
Oh no, I was an adult. At this point, I'm in my early 30s, and my father's just cracking up because he told me, we sat down. He goes, "You went pale, you went completely pale." So that was that sort of extra layer of experience, life experience, as I watched this movie and just was laughing. I really, really enjoyed it. The Mascots is one to look up.
Have you seen Best in Show and or A Mighty Wind?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Great stuff. And
I'm so friggin' jealous of you right now.
It's not. It doesn't reach quite the level of A Mighty Wind, but boy, it's fun. It's just silly fun.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Paul, tell us what you got.
I got a movie. I got the only international movie, it seems, this time around, from the just a country that you associate instantly with comedy and movies. And I got the Turkish comedy Pek Yakında, translated to Coming Soon. All right. So this movie is about a guy who at one time early in his life was an extra actor, and he gets fired from his job. And the way he gets fired from his job is easily the funniest part of the movie, and it's actually really funny. And he finds himself later in life with a family and a job that he doesn't like, which is pirating DVDs. And he ends up losing his job because his boss gets arrested and he just doesn't want to do it anymore. Kind of a combination of both of them. And he decides he wants to make a movie. because his wife doesn't like what she's doing, and so he doesn't have a job, and his wife used to be an actress but now just works in costume departments. And so it's the classic, like, guy does a thing for his wife to get her a job that she always wanted, but has to hide the fact that he's the one that got her the job. You know, it's pretty standard for like sitcoms. You don't see it in movies a lot. But it's okay. So the positives, it's really, really funny in parts. There are parts of this movie that are genuinely funny, like surprisingly so. And it is heartwarming. I mean, you know, the family aspect of it is very heartwarming, and you know, it's very formulaic in the way everything goes down. The downside, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. And,
oh, wow.
And like at the 1 hour and 15 minute mark, it felt like we were approaching, like we were getting at an ending point. And I was like, oh, it's almost over. And so like, I looked up how long it was going to be, and I was like, I've got another hour. I can't, what the hell are they going to do? Like, I had no idea how long it was going to be until at the 1 hour and 15 minute mark, and yeah, the last hour is just interminable. Like, people just need to know comedies. The wheelhouse time frame for comedies is 90 minutes to, you know, an hour 45. That's what you're shooting for.
Oh, yeah.
If you hit that 2 hour mark, something really important or major has to be happening, or it better to be the Blues Brothers. Like, that's it.
Yeah, good point.
You know, because otherwise, no, I'm sorry, it's just not working. But and this one just, you know, as far as Turkish comedies go, it's by far the best I've ever seen, though. I will say that.
Yahoo!
Yeah, exactly.
You heard it here first.
Yep. But no, honestly though, like, it was like, I honestly was going and thinking I would maybe like chuckle once or twice. I had like 3 laugh out loud moments, including like the first 5 minutes when the guy gets fired as an extra. It's just bonkers. It's really funny.
Nice.
But yeah, I wish that's the movie. Like the way this movie gets down to 90 minutes and isn't bogged down is you remove the family aspect entirely. Just remove that plot line entirely and just have this bonkers guy who used to be an extra, now pirates videos, loses his job and decides to make a movie. And good, you're good. The family doesn't even enter into it. You don't need to worry about it. And honestly, I think you would have had a potentially hilarious movie because, and honestly, the other thing I'll say is this movie's rather like progressive as far as some of its politics and some of the characters. Like, there are 2 openly gay characters in a Turkish comedy. I was very surprised. I would have not expected that from Turkey. So bravo to Turkey. Yeah, bravo to Turkey for being progressive enough to have one of their major comedians make a movie where there were 2 openly gay characters. Yeah. So there you go.
Well, there you go.
I mean, so if you want to watch a Turkish movie, I would recommend this one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. Well, as always, Reelgood.com comes through with unique choices. We encourage you to head over to Reelgood.com/roulette. And the nice part is we do Netflix. That's the way we spin it. But you can actually add other streaming services and a genre, and it'll make suggestions. And of course, we spin and we go with what we get. But you can spin and spin again if necessary. So we encourage you to go visit our friends at Reelgood.com and spin the wheel in case you're not wanting to make a choice on your own. Because like me, I just spend half an hour scrolling through everything I have and not making a choice. So
yeah.
You
know what I noticed that Netflix has now is an actual like pick a random movie feature now.
I saw that.
Really?
I saw that. Yeah. When you log in and it's like under you after you log in and it says like I don't know how does it say don't know what to watch, and you click on it and it like asks you, okay, based upon what kind of style of movie you want. It's It's interesting, and I don't think it works as well as Reelgood.com, honestly.
Well, there you go.
It cycles only what it thinks that you want to see.
Is it based on what you tend to watch on the? Okay, got it.
Yeah,
I don't know that I trust it enough.
Yeah, I mean, with you've probably got like this huge selection where it's all over the place. So mine is mostly my kids. They have their own Netflix like account,
right?
But they don't. They just log into our like mine and my husband's, and it's like. So I have mostly anime and like really weird cartoons listed on mine because that's what my kids watch all day. So,
all right,
yeah.
Have they watched Demon Slayer?
They're actually in the middle of it right now.
It's so good.
Well, I mean, honestly, like they've probably finished it and on their second round by now because they just like they will literally spend the entire day sitting on the couch.
There's a Demon Slayer movie in theaters right now that is fan-freaking-tastic.
Oh, I knew that because I started watching the series, but I haven't been able to get back to it.
You should talk to my kids. I'll tell you all about it.
Because, Paul, here I am, 10 days out, and I still need to start Fast and the Furious 4. So I'm about to fall behind.
Yeah, you're about to. You are. Shame on you for setting a goal of watching a certain number of movies in a time frame, though.
I get distracted by Clone Wars. All right, well. We like to distract you week to week, and we welcome you to join us every week here on YouTube Live and also on Facebook Live. Don't forget, you can visit with us on YouTube, watch our shows, leave comments, like the episodes. More importantly, click subscribe. And also click that notification bell so you know when our episodes land. We also like it when you like our episodes. And guys, this is episode number 74. And so the reason I said this is because I'm excited that next week will be episode number 75. Another milestone for Real to Real Talk. So you can also find us on Facebook. Some of you are watching us on Facebook Live, and we thank you for that. Make sure you go over to our Real to Real Talk page and like and follow. And also leave us comments on either the episodes or on the posters of the shows that we leave so you know what we've watched in the past. And you can do that as well by going over to our Instagram. Find us at Real to Real Talk, just like you see on screen. Follow us so you can know what we've talked about in the past, what's coming up in the future, and just be a friend of the show. So thank you so much for following us on our social media. And that brings us to this week's segments. Paul, we like to come to you week to week to pay homage, as you introduce us to a little segment we like to call, What the Hell Did I Just Watch?
So this week's movie is the first ever What the Hell Did I Just Watch audience participation pick.
Oh.
A couple weeks, 2 weeks ago on our live comments here, Bifford the Hobbit threw out New Order in his comment on like when we said, hey, what movie should I watch for What the Hell Did I Just Watch? And so I was like, okay. Unfortunately, I would have done it last week, but I already knew what I wanted to do for last week, and it was the Fast and the Furious. But so here we are, first ever audience participation movie. Wow, what a movie! All right, so first of all, it's interesting because I've wrestled with how to frame this in the terms of what the hell did I just watch? Because the reality is that after watching this movie, it's like I know exactly, like the entire time I'm just sitting here like, yep, this is what would happen. Yep, this is exactly what's going to go down if people don't stop being a bunch of greedy assholes. This is yep. So New Order takes place in Mexico City, and is about an uprising, a affluent, very affluent, very influential family. They're having a wedding in their home, their nice, beautiful home, and around them an uprising starts, like a coup d'etat, and the people start going after, the sort of like the the have-nots start going after the haves, and it gets really messed up really, really quickly, and is absolutely where things are going. So, keep not wanting to raise the taxes on people, and, keep blaming people that have absolutely nothing to do with your problems for your problems, and see where we go. Because this movie is not like this might happen. This is going to happen. Like, this movie, it's really frigging disturbing and upsetting. And it's a taut 1 hour and 25 minutes. Great, fantastic, ridiculously upsetting, super hard to watch. The last like 30 minutes is just, every single minute is just bad, unpleasant. And if you're a person who is having a hard time right now, and you're thinking, uprising, that's the way to go, it doesn't end well for you either. Like, violence is never the answer, people. It's not good. Everybody loses when there's violence, and this movie illustrates that extremely well. I highly recommend it. Nuevo Orden, or New Order. It's a good one. It is a good one, and difficult to watch, unpleasant, but fun in a perverse kind of way.
Well, we thank our friend Bifford the Hubbit for that suggestion, Paul. I'm really glad that we got our first audience choice into your topic. So fantastic. You can find out what the hell Paul watched week to week, so make sure you join us. And you'll find some interesting titles. And pandemic allowing, I still stick to the notion that at some point we need to do an online movie festival, and you're going to get your own segment of films to feature. Definitely. It's possible. I think we have ideas around how to do that. So. All right. Well, thank you, Paul, very much for this week's installment of What the Hell Did I Just Watch? That brings us to the returning Susan Chisholm as we get back to finding out what Susan finally saw.
Okay. So I wanted to stick with comedy. And by stick with comedy, I mean actually watch something that was funny. And I landed, okay. Well, I mean, but honest, come on. I ended up watching a movie that involved Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis. Oh, I think I said that right. I watched Due Date. Yes, it was. It reminds me of. There's a few movies that are kind of a similar theme, where it's like, one thing goes wrong, and the next thing goes wrong, and the next thing goes wrong, and the next thing goes wrong, and they get into these hilarious hijinks. But this one was actually funny.
Are you saying Planes, Trains, and Automobiles wasn't funny?
I didn't say anything about that at all. But what I'm saying is, I think part of what it was is that, like, Robert Downey Jr., I'm so used to him being serious or like grumpy or whatever. And I know he's got other comedies, and I haven't seen them necessarily, but his facial reactions to things, like, I can't help but laugh at him. He's just hilarious. So I think, that was part of what kind of appealed to me, was that the things were actually funny, and that Robert Downey Jr. actually, like, the way that it's the way that he delivers his lines and the way that his facial reactions are, it just makes it absolutely hilarious. And, like, I mean, we know that that Zach Galifianakis is, like, he's the very, like, I'm going to say something funny, but I'm going to keep my face straight. And that makes it funny too. So, it was really interesting. I thought it was funny. So that was my movie. It's my Due Date.
I have never been motivated to see it, but now I think I should.
It's really good.
It's silly. I mean,
it is
it's right up your alley in terms of the silly kind of humor, like what you had for your thing. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I am a Zach Galifianakis fan, so Yeah. All right. Well, Susan, I'm glad to know that another movie was checked off your list. You can find out what Susan finally saw week to week. And once again, on behalf of Paul and I, welcome back. We're happy that you're back with us.
Hey, you can recommend stuff to me on the Facebook and the Instagram and the YouTube. Also,
You have like a million movies on your list. You don't need any more recommendations.
There's some of them I'm like, there's no way in hell that I'm watching that. Sorry.
Look, I went through that damn list and I told you the ones that are worth watching.
I know. And honestly, like if you go back and you look at my list, you probably, I don't know if you still have access to it, all the ones that you were like, yes, I have
You've already done. Okay.
Yeah.
I've done them. And the ones that you're like,
the notion of
WTF?
audience participation, though. Yeah.
I mean, those ones, like, I haven't watched them yet. And some of them I have no desire to watch whatsoever because, not my style.
Oh, the 13th Warrior you did watch, so I
did.
A classic. A classic. In fact, if the banner's still up, I think we need to put it on the screen. I think I purposely left that banner for all time. No, darn it. Darn it.
I'll fix it for next week.
Next week when we discuss the making of the 13th Warrior.
That's right. That's what our 75th episode.
That's right.
It's dedicated to 13th Warrior
and Waterworld. So
yeah.
Yes!
Oh man, with a little touch of the Postman thrown in.
Oh my God. Oh.
No.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, it's always fun to find out what Paul and Susan saw, but week to week, I like to remind you in a segment I like to call Real Time Rewind about films that are out there that you may have missed or that you may sometimes need to be reminded to watch again. This week's Real Time Rewind follows the theme that I set up last week, which I said was going to be weather-based movies. Last week was Twister. This week is The Perfect Storm. The Perfect Storm is one of those movies that you think it's about fishing, but it ain't. It's about really bad weather. This movie, when I first watched it so long ago, has the same effect on me when I watch it now. And that's this high tension of you feel like you're soaked along with the main characters as they try to, make their way through, hurricane force winds and weather. I can't say enough about the production of this film. Its stars include George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, and so many more. But it's really a film that was just like Twister, is all about the effects, the way in which, I watched documentaries about how this film was literally filmed in the largest at the time water tank that had ever been built to film the ocean sequences and so forth. I can't say enough, can't recommend it enough. The Perfect Storm is this week's Real Time Rewind. I'm curious, Paul, I think you've seen it. Susan, have you had a chance to catch it? Okay, so just quick thoughts, guys, on that film. How did it make y'all feel?
That was the same thing, like you said, that like tension the entire time and hoping and just
against hope.
Against hope,
yeah. They do a really good job of ratcheting all of your emotions to an absolute crescendo and then having them crash horribly on the rocks. So
yeah. And every time you watch it, it's like when I watch Hoosiers and you have that tension of like, ooh, are they going to win the big game? It's that same sort of tension. I'm like, oh, will they make it this time?
Yeah.
And if you haven't watched it by now, that's no spoiler. Just go watch the film. The Perfect Storm is one that I really, really love. And as heartbreaking as it is, it's also, I think, an exhilarating example of what can be done on film. So, fantastic movie.
And weather,
yes. And weather. All right. Geostorm next week. I'm just kidding. So...
I've been on record as saying don't do it.
That's right. That's why I brought it up.
All right.
All right. Well, that was this week's Real Time Rewind. We are going to go right into our segment we like to call Real Quick Reviews. We've got two this week, team. And
one will be quick.
I told you guys I'd really like to start with a week.
Yeah.
So. Okay. So of the three of us, who watched Awake? I just want to make sure. Awesome.
Oh.
All right, Paul, get us started. Awake. Netflix.
Great concept. It would have been nice if you didn't know exactly what was going on in the first 5 minutes. Like, it's like You really don't know what's different about the little girl? Like, seriously? Come on, stop.
Yeah. So much wrong with this film.
Except for Barry Pepper. If you're a Barry Pepper purist and just need to see everything Barry Pepper's in, then this is the movie for you. Otherwise,
Yeah. Susan, your thoughts as you watched the movie Awake on Netflix?
Yeah, kind of similarly. I mean, like it was pretty. I don't know if it's just telegraphed or just predictable, but still not.
Predictably telegraphed.
Yeah. It was not easy to watch per se. So
yeah. That's the thing is they didn't telegraph it, and that was my biggest problem is it wasn't telegraphed. It like they were trying to make it seem like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
Maybe in doing so they telegraphed it by not telegraphing it, by intentionally trying not to telegraph it. They did.
I think for me, I was ruined by it within the first half hour, and that's probably too long. I gave it too long at that point, but because it was 20. I'll never forget. I was 27 minutes in when I turned to Jen and I said, "How do they know all this stuff already? And how are they already impacted? Like, they've only been awake a couple of days, and already it's like, and it's like the pacing was off. The acting was the little girl that played Matilda,
really good,
future star."
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
But everyone else around, including the lead, outside of Barry Pepper was great. And there were so many things that happened that I was like, what? Why would you let that happen? Or why? It was such a good concept, like you said, Paul, but not executed well, to the point where by the time it was over, circling back to an earlier comment, I was glad I waited to watch Mascots until after.
Excellent.
Man, needed. This movie suffers from it tries too hard, and it doesn't come close to what it's trying to accomplish.
Yeah, it's the classic Netflix movie that they just need like 2 more rounds of rewrites to get something good, and they just don't do it. And that's what really happens a lot with these streaming movies, straight to streamers. It's just like they just are missing something. Like there's just something that it doesn't quite go the extra mile, and
it feels like they rushed. Yeah, if y'all remember, Netflix said that they would be releasing a new film every week of 2021. And to me, this is kind of a product of that. Although, Jen made a good point. There's probably a lot of films out there that haven't seen the light of day, for good reason in this case, that are probably being slotted into this goal that they have of releasing a new Netflix film every week of this year. I don't know.
We get a new Kevin Hart movie next week, Sergio.
Well, there you go. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, those of you who watch the show, you know that we have a 5 taco rating system here on Reel to Reel Talk. A movie can get as many as 5 tacos, and if you want to give it some extra love, you can throw in some extra guac. So, team, let us know Netflix's latest release, the movie Awake. Paul, start us off. What is your rating for this?
Classic, perfect 2 taco movie. This is the very definition of a 2 taco movie. Okay. It's just like, 2 tacos. Let's move on.
Indeed. Susan, Awake.
That's 2 tacos is where I was going to say. Aside from, and honestly, I was going to tell you the actress that played, the young actor that played Matilda is actually, she was in the Avengers Infinity War as young Gamora. She's already got her feet in the deep end. Like she is going places. So she's not got places to go. She's gone there. But 2 tacos because
it is.
Like what else do you need to say about it?
I will echo and simply say 2 tacos because so that is Awake. You can find it on Netflix. Watch it. Decide for yourself, but don't blame us because we warned you. All right.
Honestly, if you're looking for something just to kind of have on the background while you're doing other things, you could do worse than Awake.
That'll put you to sleep. So
potentially,
ironically called Awake. All right. I do want to get to this next film that we're going to talk about here in a real quick rewind because, wow, In the Heights is our second film. Whew. I'm just going to say right from the start, joyful experience for this guy.
Purely joyful?
I loved it.
Well, yeah, but like, how many times did it make you cry?
Oh, man. Well, when I say joyful, I'm just talking spirit sword kind of feeling like I really loved it.
All right.
Did it choke me up?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, oh my God. My wife walked in at one point towards the end and is like, what just happened? And like, I'm like, well, you see, she was, and they found it. Yeah. So
I did not get a chance to catch this one. So I'm
so
gonna
of
probably...
the two movies you watched Awake. Oh, bummer.
I know, right? Like, what? Yeah, that was. I ran out of time. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Right, I just didn't have the chance to do it, but
I understand. That's cool.
Yeah. It's a musical. Okay. Yeah. So right from the start, when when you said In the Heights, I was like, okay. Then I was like, oh, wait, Lin-Manuel Miranda. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, because I love Hamilton. And so I went in with high hopes, and I was not disappointed. Yeah. I can't say enough about how this from the middle of the first song, and again, I'm not a fan of musicals, but from the middle of the first song, I was like, why am I tapping my toes? I'm loving this. And it was again, they kept the story simple, they kept it timely. Everyone played their part well. I didn't know a lot of the actors. Which made it a nice experience to go through. But then you had the familiar face of Jimmy Smits. Mark Anthony played a small role. So you had those moments of familiarity. And boy, talk about a way in which the cultures of the Latin American community is celebrated in this film. Just watch it is all I got to say. You can find it on HBO Max. Paul, any thoughts you want to add to that?
I mean, look, I want to go ahead. Yes, Susan.
I have a thought because I was looking and researching. The actor that played Matilda in Awake was also in The Heights.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So
she was probably one of the little girls that was playing one of the main characters.
Yes, it was young Nina.
Olivia Perez?
Yeah.
Oh. No, Ariana Greenblatt.
Okay.
Ariana Greenblatt. So.
All right. Young Nina. Yeah. Right. All right. So my thought, the song "Patience and Faith" in Spanish.
Paciencia y fe.
Paciencia y fe. I mean that number.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, the actress that they got to do that, it's like, where have you been? Like, right. how are you not like a major star from the 1970s? Like, why do I, wow.
It's so funny you said that because when I saw her appear, I was like, I know it's not who this is, but she looks exactly like the actor that portrayed the mother in The Godfather. The mother of the boys.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That classic face and just But I'm sorry, I interrupted. She's wonderful.
That number killed me. The actress that played Vanessa Melissa Barrera.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, any relation?
No
okay. Wow.
Yeah.
On like 27 different levels. Wow. Just amazingly talented. Just one of the most strikingly beautiful people that's ever been on screen ever. Fantastic. I'll just say one of the things that I loved is I love the lost in translation immigrant jokes that happen. Like if you when you meet people who are, immigrants or, first generation, everybody has that lost in translation thing. So Usnavi getting his name from a ship, the US Navy. A friend of mine, the one that always sticks with me is her dad immigrated from Cuba, and she says her story is that the back in the day the Cokes were 10 cents when he arrived, and so the Coke the first time he went to a Coke machine, he just said to it, "Una Coca-Cola, por favor," because it said dime on the thing. Dime.
Oh god.
So, and I know that I'm 90% sure that's just a joke and not real, but like I love those kind of stories. So the one thing that I would say, I liked the actors that played Benny and Nina, but I did feel like the focus really should have been just on Usnavi and Vanessa, and I felt like some of their scenes were a little draggy. You probably could have gotten it down to under 2 hours if you'd trimmed a little bit, like a number, one of their two big numbers. Because
their story was, although you knew the resolution, it just felt like it was left hanging. But I get what you're saying.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
I loved the Usnavi as sort of the storyteller thread throughout the movie, and how that resolves itself at the end, and just it's great. It is such a happy, fantastic experience. I hope everybody dives into it.
Indeed. You can find it on HBO Max, In the Heights, latest installment by Lin-Manuel Miranda as a producer of the film. I don't know that this was at any point a stage musical. I'd have to look. Was it? Okay.
Yeah, and Lin-Manuel Miranda played Usnavi.
Okay. I didn't do enough research to know for sure, but I know that as I watched it, I thought, I'm so glad it got a film version, if there was, because it was able to do so much with the landscapes of New York. Having been and driven through some of those streets or visited that city, it was just like, wow. And you could feel the heat, that was being portrayed. And so just a wonderful experience. Paul, taco rating for In the Heights.
Yeah. We're going to go with 4 amazing tacos with extra guac. For all the times that Jimmy Smith said, mentiras.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm going to echo the same. 4 tacos plus guac. Once again, Paul, we're on the same page.
Excellent.
The only reason it falls short of the 5 tacos is because, again, I felt like that the one storyline felt unresolved, and it was just,
it's a bit much. There's just a little too much in the movie.
It was a little too long. But very much very, very enjoyable. I encourage folks to watch it. So check it out, In the Heights on HBO Max. Inform your own opinion. Let us know what you think. You can do so at our Facebook page, Real to Real Talk. Let us know what you think of the movies we've talked about. Tell us what you're watching and what you're enjoying, and maybe even suggest to us future topics for the show. Once again, you can also, those of you joining us here on YouTube Live, please subscribe and click the notification bell so you know when our episodes land week to week. And if you really want to know all that we've talked about in past episodes of Real to Real Talk, check us out on Instagram. Cycle through those posters, find out what we talked about before, and just enjoy what has been a 74 episode experience. Next week, we hit a milestone of 75 episodes. Let's try that again. 75 episodes next week, and so I'm excited for that. We're
going to do a live watch of 13th Warrior next week, so be sure to be here.
Absolutely. There it is. There it is.
Oh, sorry.
Keep that on.
I found the banner.
It'll be great. What we'll do is, to put you in the mood for watching the movie, we'll turn out all our lights so that you can't actually see anything going on, just like the movie, where you literally can't see anything that goes on during any of the important scenes.
So we're gonna flash between us and learn a whole new language together.
Well, we'll have
depiction of a real event.
We'll get one of those little crack open glow things and crack it open 3 days beforehand and pull it out, and that'll be the lighting, because that's clearly the lighting they used for the movie during the action scenes.
You can mock the movie all you want.
I'm going to.
Classic. It is a classic. It is right up there with Hudson Hawk. So with that said, no reaction, Paul.
I'm just.
He's leaving it
alone. I'm immune to you.
No, you're not. You think you are, but you. You better
Oh
not.
my! Well, if you want to find out how all this plays out, make sure you join us next week for our next episode of Real to Real Talk.
Which we promise won't be about 13th Warrior.
It will not be about 13th Warrior.
But we can't promise that 13th Warrior will come out.
Oh, I'll find a way. I will find a way. All right. Well, once again, welcome back, Susan. Thank you for joining us. As always, it's great to have you. Paul, same thing. Thank you for continuing on this journey with me from so far back. I really appreciate
so much
all
fun.
that you guys do.
Yep.
With that in mind, we love you guys. Thank you for joining us. And remember, as we always say, you're awesome, you're amazing, and the world's a better place because you are in it. We will see you next time on Real to Real Talk.